and then let me share the screen. Okay, so first of all, I would like to discuss the overall picture of the course, and then I will discuss about the status of the projects, because these are the two important parts of the segments of the course. One is because there will be no in between assignments, there will be no in between quizzes. All you have to do is there is a final exam and then there is a project. There is nothing else which you are supposed to prepare for. Okay. So in terms of course, the last class we basically discussed, I think some last parts of the sequential circuits, which were binary counters, modem counters, universal binary counter, and their test benches, especially test benches. We saw that how we can design test benches for the sequential circuits, because sequential circuit test bench requires a specific time time constraints or time management, how to apply, when to apply which signal, and how long to apply that signal. So these kind of issues come across in your sequential test matches. So it's very important to go through and repeat, and especially uh, independently and without going into book, try to design your own simple test benches and see if it is working, and then it will build up your skills. Okay. And now there are, in my opinion, there are two other parts. First of all, we will discuss some small case studies. There are various case studies. Case studies are like small projects. Okay. So we will also discuss, keep on discussing in our next classes also. Today we are also going to discuss some small case study. And second part, the course we are going to discuss in coming lectures, that will be finite state machine. That is the fifth chapter. So finite state machine will do quite few examples on the finite state machines. But right now we are going to discuss some case studies and some good examples of the case studies. Okay. So, and the other part is about projects. So, I, I want to know, okay, how is your project planning going? Because once your planning is okay, rest is just programming, debugging, programming, and programs are already there. You just need to look into the available codes and try to find where to amend and how to where to change the bits of code and fit into your project requirements. That's it. So first of all, main thing is you're looking at the whole picture of the project and try to planning about the project and how to test and to divide the project into small parts and then test each part separately, and once it is tested then integrate whole number of parts and then testing project altogether. Okay, so the case study we are going to discuss today is related with the project which students which are going to use 7-segment displays. Okay, so any group which is going to use 7-segment display, it will be helpful for them. Okay, so pay attention, everybody pay attention, but especially those student groups. Everybody, why everybody? Because this is part of the course. So in the final exams, you will come across questions from these parts also. Okay, so there is a case study. So this is very important case study. So far we have covered up to here, test bench for sequential circuits. Okay, so case study is that, for example, there is a board. There is a some development board, or there's some project which requires us to use 7-segment displays. And for example, here it is mentioned that there are 4 7-segment displays. Okay, so for example, you want to display some time, so 2 digits for the hours, 2 digits for the minutes, and 2 digits for the seconds. So minimum you need 6 7-segment displays. the board you have, which is Nexus 4 DDR, basically comprises, basically it contains 8 7-segment displays. So there are enough 7-segment displays available on your board. So the challenge is to how to use those 7-segment displays. Why there is a challenge? Let's discuss why there is a. It is very challenging to use 7-segment displays in FPGA board. So first of all, I will show you picture of the 7-segment displays, which are actually how they are connected with the Nexus 4 in the Nexus 4 board FPGA chip. Okay, so let's search for reference manual. So this is the reference manual. Okay, so let me change the screen. Okay, so this is the reference manual of Nexus 4 DDR. So I will jump to the 7-segment displays, which are connected with the RTX 7. So RTX 7 is the name of the FPGA which is integrated on which is assembled on the Nexus 4 DDR board. Okay, so this basically says that there are different kind of switches and buttons and LEDs and 7-segment displays are connected. So basically it is showing what are the pin numbers it is connected to and how they are connected to. Okay, so we have already used some switches, we have used these buttons, we have used LEDs. We haven't used till these RGB LEDs, but we will use them in future. But right now, let's discuss about these 8 7-segment displays. Okay, so as we know that 7-segment, basically there are two kinds of 7-segment displays. One 7-segment display is called common anode, and other 7-segment display is called common cathode. Okay, I think we also discussed that in the class also, but let me repeat that. So there are two kinds of 7-segment displays. One is common anode and other is common anode 7-segment display. So here you go. This is common anode 7-segment display and also common cathode 7-segment display. Okay, so is it visible with you, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see that if we look at the common cathode, so you can see all the cathodes of the LEDs. So this is one cathode, this is another cathode, this is another cathode. All the cathodes of these LEDs are common, okay, and their anodes have a separate terminals. So this anode is anode terminal is connected with the A, this anode terminal is connected with the B and C and so on and so forth. Okay, so what does it say that? It says that if you want to display any sort of character or number or whatever, then you have to send that pattern through A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, because and those A, B, C terminals are connected with the anodes. That's why you have to send positive supply, or you can say you have to send ones. If you want to activate certain number of LEDs, you have to send one to that LED. Okay, if I want to display one, then I have to send one to the B and one to the C, and the rest of the LEDs I will assign 0 values. Okay, so this is what common cathode says. Okay, once we look at the common anode, then all the anodes are common together and their cathodes are connected with the terminals A, B, C. So if we want to activate A, B, C terminals, then we have to send zeros. Okay. So now it is clear. So the patterns will be activated. In common cathode, patterns will be activated through ones, and in common anode, patterns will be activated through zeros. Okay. So let's go back to the manual. First of all, I want to know that which kind of 7-segment display is there. Is it common anode and common cathode? So we'll look at the display reference manual and see which kind of is there. So next is for DDR, contains 2 4-digit common anode. Okay, so this is common anode 7-segment display. So when we talk about common anode 7-segment display, so this is common anode. So the patterns will be connected with the cathodes. So cathodes means zeros. So zeros will be activating. Zeros will be sent as activating patterns. Okay. Okay. So for example, and there is an important thing to understand here. So the first of all, we got the idea that their cathodes are connected with the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and decimal point. Okay, so that's why you can see the cathodes are A, B, C are named as CA, CB, CC, CD, CE, CF. It means that A is a cathode, B is also cathode, C is cathode. So if you want to activate this A to decimal point, you have to send zeros from these output ports. Okay, so T node or T10, R10, these are the pins. So you have to send zeros from these pins to activate these corresponding LEDs on the 7-segment displays. Okay. What about the anodes? So if these are cathodes, these are the anodes. Okay, so anodes will always be in common structure. Anodes are activated through positive signals, or in digital sense they will be activated through ones rather than zeros. They will be activated through ones. But there is a twist in the story here. So the twist is that before directly connecting these pins to the anodes of the 7-segment displays, they are basically connected with some Darlington transistors. Okay, so these are the Darlington transistors. So the Darlington transistors are working as a inverter. What happens now, because it works as an inverter, now you can't send ones to activate the anodes. Now you have to send zero, because you send zero, Darlington transistor will invert into one, and then this anode will be activated, right? And there is another twist in the story, which is very important to remember, that which is that you can see the anodes are separate for each 7-segment display. Each anode is given separate pin. For example, this anode for this 7-segment is given U13. This 7-segment display is given K2, and you can see there so on and so forth. Every anode is connected independently and exclusively with the separate pin. But on the other hand, when we look at the cathodes, if you look at this CA, which is connected with the T10, same CA is connected with this this 7-segment displays, this 7-segment display, this 7-segment display, and all kinds of 7-segment displays. Okay, so the problem is that why it has been integrated like this, because there are eight cathodes here, and if there are eight 7-segment displays, there will be 64 cathodes. 8 cathodes in each 7-segment display, and there are 8 7-segment displays. So 8 multiplied by 8 will make 64 cathodes. If we try to assign separate pin for each cathode, then we will require 64 pins. So it is not intelligent to assign a separate pin to each cathode. So what we do here, we need to design an intelligent circuit which can time multiplex, and which can do time multiplexing and then perform and activate the different cathodes at the different times. Okay, so let's say this cathode will be activated for certain amount of time, and then this cathode will be activated, and then this cathode, and then this cathode. This is called time multiplexing. Maybe you have a little bit idea from the previous courses. Okay, so what is the idea is that, for example, you want to display some numbers here. Let's say the number is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and you want to display some numbers. If you will send 0 from here, so this 0, for example, pattern of 0, all these patterns A to G patterns of the 0 will go to every 7 segment display, and 0 will be consecutively displayed to every 7 segment display, and that is not what we need. We need to display 0 only at this 7 segment display. So now what we are supposed to do at that particular amount of time, we are only supposed to activate this anode 7, and deactivate all these rest of the anodes. Okay, so when we send 0, when we 0 pattern from cathodes, then we will only activate this anode, and we will deactivate these all anodes. When I say activate, I mean I need to send 0 here, I need to assign ones here. Okay, and then after some amount of time, which will be very quickly, we will move from this 7 segment to this 7, and then we change the pattern to 1. Okay, and then we activate this anode and deactivate this and rest of the other anodes also. And then we have to jump quickly to the third 7 segment display, jump quickly to the fourth, and keep on going, and then come back to the first anode, and this whole cycle will go on. And this whole cycle will be so quickly, so our eyes cannot discriminate whether it is a blinking operation, whether it's a continuous operation. In actual sense, it is a blinking. You are moving from, you are turning on one 7 segment display, and then turning on another 7 segment display, and then another 7 segment. So it is like a blinking. But our eyes, it will be so fast, our eyes will not be able to discriminate, okay, between two blinking 7 segment displays. So at the end of the design, it will look like that it is continuously illuminated. All the 7 segments will be continuously illuminated, and they'll be showing, this will be showing 0, this will be showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will be done by this is the reason why we have to design time multiplexing circuit, because we do not want to waste our resources, because pins are resources. So we do not waste all the resources to 7 segment displays, because we have also other peripherals to connect with the 7 segment with the FPGA. Okay. Okay. So I also want to discuss some timing diagram here. Let's say we want to only access 4 anodes, 4 7 segment displays. Let's say, okay. And this reference manual says that your refresh period should be from 1 millisecond to 16 millisecond. Okay, so you can choose your refresh period from 1 millisecond to 16 milliseconds. So what is refresh period? Refresh period is going from first digit to last digit, and then coming to the first digit. That time is called refresh period. It starts from first digit elimination, it ends at last digit elimination. It is called refresh period. Okay, so and if we are, let's say we are refresh period is 16 millisecond, and now we have a 4 digits, digit 0, digit 1, digit 2, digit 3. So anodes will be used to control the elimination. Okay, so at from this time to this time, first 7 segment display will be activated. And what will be this time? This time will be refresh period divided by 4, because whole refresh period is allowed refresh period is this limit, and then we will divide into 4 parts. and each activating duration will be equal to refresh divided by 4. For example, if refresh period we are taking is a 16 milliseconds, then 16 divided by 4 will be equal to 4 milliseconds. So this will be equal to 4 milliseconds. This will be equal to another 4 milliseconds. This will be equal to another 4 milliseconds, and this will be equal to another 4 milliseconds. So this is how the time multiplexing should be designed. So this is the planning. Okay, there's a no code we have discussed here, no ports we have discussed, no methodology we have discussed so far. So far we have only discussed the planning, how it will be, how it should be done. Okay, so that sort of planning I always tell you, you have to go through when you are designing your project. Once you're on the paper, you are clear how to do your project, then it will be a matter of little bit effort to convert into a Verilog code. Okay. So now we know that anodes are activating signals, anodes are active low, cathodes are also active low. Cathodes will take the patterns, anodes will take the activating signals. Refresh period is 16 millisecond, and each digit will be divided by 4. Okay, so each digit will get divided by. If there are 8 digits, then digit period will be refresh period divided by 8. So it depends upon the construction. If you are using all the 8 digits, refresh period will be divided by 8. Okay, so here you go. So it says that, for example, all 8 digits should be driven once every 16 milliseconds for a refresh frequency of about 1 kilohertz to 60 hertz. Okay, so if we are talking about one millisecond, let's say 1 millisecond for the sake of simplicity. So 1 millisecond will be equal to 1 kilohertz. In terms of frequency, it will be 1 kilohertz. Okay, and for example, 62.5 refresh scheme, the entire display would be refreshed once every 16 minutes. So 62.5 is for 16 millisecond. If we pick the 16 millisecond refresh period, then frequency will be 62.5 hertz. So you can confirm yourself on your calculator also. Okay, so if we are using 16 millisecond, then each, and we are taking 8 digits, then it will be 1 divided by 8 refresh cycle, and each digit will be 2 milliseconds. Okay, so straightforward calculations. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the book, which again discusses these concepts. Okay. Okay, so this is the this book basically discusses. This book is based on a board which contains 4 7-segment displays. So this is just for the learning, and then we have to amend the code for our own board. Okay. Okay, so there are 4 7-segment displays. These are anodes, these are cathodes. Anodes are also active load due to Darlington transistor. Okay, so you have to remember that. So for this time, this digit period, you have to activate. We have to send first pattern, then we have to send, in this period we have to send second pattern, third pattern, fourth pattern, and then we have to repeat to the first pattern and then second pattern. So this is all the strategy is. Okay, so let's go to the code directly. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask me before I move to the coding part.
Yes, sir. Conceptually clear है sir.
Clear है? Okay. Okay, so now let's discuss about this. So this part only discusses about the time multiplexing. So let's say you need clock because you see in the circuit, you need reset signal, and if it is a 4 digit, you need 4 ports for one port for one 8-bit port for each digit. Okay, so 8-bit for N0, N1, N2, N3. So because what we are assuming that we are going to show 4 digits. Let's say I'm going to show my my date of birth, my date of year 1987. So I need 4 digits, and each digit will require 8 because it is a 7-segment display, and so each 7-segment display requires 8 bits. Okay, so in terms of output, so output range 30 anode. Okay, so this will be SS. This will be enable signal. Okay, because there are 4 anodes and each anode will be activated consecutively. And this is SSEG 7 segment LED segments. This is also 8 bit. Okay, so this will take and this will send out. Okay, so let's discuss. Okay, so first of all, the most important part of this design is how to generate a specific timing. Okay, let's say we discuss that. Okay, let's say this board, because Nexus 4 board is 100 megahertz clock, but let's discuss about this board. This board is 50 megahertz clock, right? This board is another board. So this is, let's say we have a 50 megahertz clock. Now we want to convert from 50 megahertz to 1 kilohertz. Okay. By 1 kilohertz, let's say we are assuming our refresh rate is 1 millisecond.
1 millisecond.
Yes. If we assume that our refresh rate is 1 millisecond, then we need to generate 1 kilohertz from the 50 megahertz. Okay. So because the kind of methodology we are using, this is a methodology like I told you, there are two kinds of methods to divide the clock from the bigger clock into the slower clock, faster clock to slower clock. One method is counter and then toggling operation. Okay, when counter reaches certain value and then toggle the slow clock variable. Okay, another method is picking up a certain MSB to slow down the clock. We also wrote the codes for the both methodologies and we also tested them. Okay, so so in this methodology we are using the farmer method, which is not as accurate as the first method is, which is toggling based method. This is MSB type of method. So let's say we are not able to get exactly 1 kilohertz, we will be able to get 800 hertz. Okay, so 800 hertz is also fine because range is between 62.5 hertz to 1000 hertz. Okay, so any number in between is fine. The refresh period is fine. You can get any number in between. So this book is basically wants to get 800 hertz. So it says that if we have a 50 megahertz divided by 2 power 16, it will get us 800 hertz. Okay, so 2 power 16 is basically telling us 16 is the MSB we are interested in. Okay, so 2 power 16 is the LSB. I told you it's the same methodology before. Okay, so no need to explain. So the refreshing rate of 800 hertz. So it will be using this formula 50 megahertz divided by 2 raised to power 16. It will give us 800 megahertz. Okay, so let's go to some internal signals because it is a sequential circuit. So you need Q range, you need Q next, and their size will be equal to n. And what is the n? N is equal to 8 because here we are trying to design a counter which will be counted and their size is 18 bit. Okay. Okay, so the first part is simple part, which is the register part, or which is current state part, present state part, where we just simply design the flip-flop. Okay, we say that if reset, Q range will be 0, otherwise Q next will be assigned to the Q range. And then there is the next state logic. In the next, this is designed using data flow modeling. This says that every current state will be updated, will be incremented and assigned to the Q nest. So this is just a counter. So this is a simple counter as compared to previous counters we have designed so far. Okay, so this is the part where we will perform time multiplexing. Okay, so this is the output part. This is the next state logic. This is the output logic. This is the present state logic. So in this is again combinational. So we says that because let's say we are interested in the n is equal to 18. So n minus 1 will be equal to 17 and n minus 2 will be equal to 16. So basically we are looking at the 16th and 17th bit. Okay. So if 16th and 17th bits are 0, 0, then what will happen? And this 16th and 17th bit will be 0, 0 after every 800, not 800, but 1 divided by 800 hertz in terms of time. Okay. So when it is 0, 0, these both bits of QReg is a counter, it's an 18-bit counter. So we are only interested in last two MSBs. So these MSBs are 0, then what we'll do, we will activate only the first 7-segment display, because activating anode is a anode signal here in terms of FPGA. Anode signal is active low signal. So here we are only activating the first 7-segment and deactivating rest of the 7 segments. And then we are assigning pattern, which is in 0, is assigning this pattern to the 7-segment display. Okay. So what is AN? AN are anode. What is SSEG? SSEG are cathodes. A to F and decimal point. And then we say when it becomes 0, 1, then turn on the another 7-segment display and also change the pattern. Okay, for example, what is the pattern? The pattern is, this is the lowest digit, units digit. So in 0 will be equal to 7. In my case, 1987. So this will be equal to 7. This will be equal to 8. This will be equal to 9. And this will be equal to 1. And due to this activating, this will go to first digit. This will go to second digit. This will go to third digit. This will go to fourth digit. Okay. And this whole process will keep on going after the refresh rate of 800 hertz. Okay. So for 800 hertz, let's say what is the reciprocal of 800 hertz? Can anybody calculate me? I want to talk in numbers. 1 divided by 8.
1.25 milli.
Okay, 1.25 milliseconds. Okay. So 1.25 millisecond is a refresh rate here, right? 1.25 millisecond is a refresh rate here. And what will be the digit refresh rate? Digit refresh rate will be equal to 1.25 divided by 4 millisecond, right? 1.25 divided.
डिजिट रिफ्रेश रेट हम कैसे मतलब बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, कैसे इसको अप्लाई कर रहे हैं?
ये हम ऐसे बिल्ड करें, जैसे टोटल रिफ्रेश रेट हमने सेलेक्ट किया बिटवीन लेट्स से बिटवीन 1 मिलीसेकंड टू 16 मिलीसेकंड, ठीक है, जो हमने डिस्कस किया उसके रेफरेंस मैनुअल में लिखा हुआ था, ठीक है, कि बिटवीन 1 मिलीसेकंड टू 16 मिलीसेकंड कोई भी आप पिक कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो फॉर एग्जांपल हमने पिक किया है 1 मिलीसेकंड टू, अभी हमने पिक किया है 1.25 मिलीसेकंड, ऐसे ना,
यस सर,
ठीक है, 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 800 हर्ट्ज, ठीक है, 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 800 is 1.25 millisecond. Our range is 1 to 16 millisecond, but we have here picked up 1.25 milliseconds. Okay, that is the refresh rate. And what that refresh rate is, it is from this point to this point. Okay, this point to this point, from N0 to N3, and this is again repeats itself. So again N0 and N1. So from this point to this point, the time will be equal to 1.25 millisecond. Now there are 4 digits. That's why each digit will get 1.25 millisecond divided by 4. Okay. So this is 1.25 divided by 4. This is 1.25 divided by 4. This is 1.25 divided by 4 times. Got it? This is digit period. And there is a refresh period. Refresh period is 1.25 milliseconds. And how it is, how this time is slowed down, or this frequency or time is slowed down, time is increased and frequency is slowed down due to this methodology, because this is a counter. Now we are not picking up some LSBs, we are picking up some higher MSBs, which is 16th bit and 17th bit. So when you pick up, we also discussed same methodology before. When you pick up the higher MSBs, your clock gets slowed down. When your clock gets slowed down, your time gets increased. Okay.
हाँ,
Okay.
जितनी हायर एमएसबी होगी उतना हमारे पास फ्रीक्वेंसी क्लॉक की मतलब जो बनाने वाले हैं उसकी कम होगी ना सर।
हाँ, उतनी कम होती जाएगी, टाइम पीरियड बढ़ता जाएगा और क्लॉक स्लो होती जाएगी। ठीक है।
सही है सर। इसमें 2 बिट्स हमने सेलेक्ट किए हैं ना, n-1 एंड n-2। n-1 जो है ये ओवरऑल जो हमारे पास टाइम है, मतलब जैसे 1.25 मिली सेकेंड हमने लिए, और n-2 ये उसको उसकी मतलब जो हमारे पास है 1.25 उसको डिवाइड मजीद करने के लिए ये यूज़ कर रहे हैं।
नहीं, ये इसलिए है कि हमें बेसिकली, क्योंकि हमारे पास 4 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्लेस हैं, इसी वजह से हमें 4 कॉम्बिनेशंस चाहिए थे। ठीक है। तो 4 कॉम्बिनेशन के लिए हमने 2 एमएसबीज उठाई हैं। ठीक है। अगर आपके पास 8 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले होंगे तो यहाँ पे आप n-1 n-2 और n-3 सब पिक करेंगे। ठीक है। फिर आपके पास यहाँ पे देखें कॉम्बिनेशन आ जाएगा 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0, क्योंकि आपके पास 8 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले हो तो आपको 8 कॉम्बिनेशन चाहिए होंगे। ठीक है। तो इसी वजह से हमने यहाँ पे 2 एमएसपी पिक किए हैं। ठीक है। और हमने यहाँ पे इस कैलकुलेशन में मेक श्योर ये किया है कि ये जो इस डिजिट से 0 0 से लेकर 0 1 तक जो टाइम होगा, चेंज होने का टाइम होगा, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू 1.25 डिवाइडेड बाय 4। ठीक है।
सही।
हाँ, तो हम स्टार्ट कहाँ से कर रहे हैं? हम 16 से कर रहे हैं। ठीक है। सो दिस इज 16, दिस इज 17। इन आवर कैलकुलेशन we say that if our clock frequency is 50 megahertz and if we divide by 2 power 16, this will get us 800 hertz. So this we are interested in 16th. Okay. So this is the starting MSP. So if we are interested in 2 bits, so it will be 16 and 17. If we are starting in 3 bits, then it will be 16 17 18. Okay. So 3 bits will accommodate 8 digits. Yeah.
सर इसमें हम कैश यूज कर रहे हैं ना सर, हमारे पास 4 डिस्प्ले है, हम चाहते हैं कि चारों डिस्प्ले एट अ टाइम मतलब सारे ऑन हो, तो इसमें हमने कैश यूज किया हुआ है। अगर ये 00 हो तो एक ऑन हो, अगर 01 पे आ जाए सर तो प्रीवियस वाला ऑफ हो जाएगा, सेकंड ऑन
हाँ
हो जाएगा।
हाँ हाँ।
तो लेकिन हम चाहते हैं कि चारों एक साथ ऑन हो, तो फिर उसको कैसे कंट्रोल करेंगे?
नहीं, ये तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये एक साथ हम एक साथ नहीं करें, मगर जब अब ये हार्डवेयर पे चलेगा आपको एक ही साथ लगेंगे, बिकॉज दिस टाइम इज सो फास्ट। यही मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि इस 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले के बाद इस 10 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले पे जब आप जा रहे हैं, वो जो टाइम है एक डिस्प्ले को और फिर दूसरे डिस्प्ले को, मतलब एक को आप ऑफ कर रहे हैं और दूसरे को फिर ऑन कर रहे हैं। ठीक है। तो वो जो टाइम है वो कितना टाइम है? वो है 1.25 divided by 4, that is basically 0.3 millisecond. And 0.3 millisecond is so fast कि आपको ये लगेगा ही नहीं कि पहला बंद हुआ है। समझ गए? या ऐसे समझे कि रिफ्रेश रेट इतना फास्ट है, जैसे सिंपल मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आपके घर में जो लाइट का बल्ब लगा होता है, ठीक है, और उसको जो हम पावर दे रहे होते हैं, एसी पावर दे रहे होते हैं, उस एसी पावर की फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या होती है?
वो 50 है सर।
50 होती है या 60 हर्ट्ज होती है? मेरे ख्याल में 60 हर्ट्ज होती है। 50।
पाकिस्तान में 50 है, बाकी यूएस की तरफ उधर 60 है।
अच्छा, यूएस की
50 है।
60, हमारे यहाँ 50 है। चलो इसको कंफर्म कर लेना, 50 है या 60, ये 2 स्टैंडर्ड्स दुनिया में चल रहे हैं। ठीक है। अगर इस फ्रीक्वेंसी को अगर आप थोड़ा सा नीचे लाकर लाकर जैसे कम कर दें, कभी कभी ग्रिड में मसला हो जाता है या जनरेटर में मसला हो जाता है, आपने देखा होगा कि आपके जो बल्ब होता है वो फ्लिकरिंग कर रहा होता है। ठीक है। फ्लिकरिंग मतलब ब्लिंकिंग कर रहा होता है। ठीक है। और वो इसलिए कर रहा होता है कि उस जनरेटर की या ग्रिड की फ्रीक्वेंसी कम हो जाती है, 20 हो जाती है या 25 हो जाती है, तो फिर वो ऑन ऑफ हो रहा होता है। ठीक है। अब वही अगर फ्रीक्वेंसी 30 से ऊपर जाती है और 50 या 60 तक चली जाती है तो उसकी फ्लिकरिंग बंद हो जाती है। एक्चुअली हो ये रहा होता है कि वो फिर भी वो, क्योंकि ये साइनोसाइडल सिग्नल से आती है ना, एसी का जो शेप होता है, एसी वापडा की जो लाइन आती है उसका शेप क्या होता है? साइनोसाइडल शेप होता है। तो साइनोसाइडल शेप में आपको ये भी पता है कि इट गोज टू जीरो एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम। ठीक है। जीरो, फिर पीक, फिर जीरो, फिर नेगेटिव पीक, फिर जीरो। तो जब ये जीरोस आते हैं उस वक्त आपका बल्ब बंद हो जाता है, मगर वो इतने छोटे ड्यूरेशन के लिए बंद होता है वो आपको पता ही नहीं चलता। क्यों पता नहीं चलता है? क्योंकि उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी 50-60 हर्ट्ज है, एंड दैट फ्रीक्वेंसी इज सो फास्ट आवर आईज कैन नॉट डिस्क्रिमिनेट वेदर इट इज ब्लिंकिंग। ठीक है, अगर आपके पास ऐसा कैमरा हो, जैसे कहते हैं कि भाई अगर आपके पास इंफ्रारेड कैमरा हो और उससे आप इसको वीडियो इसकी रिकॉर्ड करें, या आपके पास हाई फ्रेम रेट कैमरा हो उसके साथ आप रिकॉर्डिंग करें, तो वही फ्लक्चुएशन आपको बिल्कुल नजर आएगी, बल्ब में भी नजर आएगी, और 7 सेगमेंट की रिकॉर्डिंग करेंगे उसमें भी नजर आएगी कि भाई ये पहले ये ऑन हो रहा है, फिर ये बंद हो रहा है, फिर दूसरा ऑन हो रहा है, फिर पहले 2 बंद हो रहे हैं, फिर तीसरा ऑन हो रहा है। ठीक है, मगर हमारी जो आईज हैं वो कहते हैं कि 30 हर्ट्ज से ऊपर अगर 30 हर्ट्ज से ज्यादा स्पीड में चीजें चेंज हो रही हैं तो फिर वो उसको एज ए कंटिन्यूअस देखता है, इसको एज ए डिस्क्रीट नहीं देखता चीजों को। ठीक है,
यस सर।
इज इट क्लियर नाउ?
यस सर, क्लियर है अब सर।
Okay, so before going into Vivado, I want to discuss testing circuit, क्योंकि इसका supporting circuit भी चाहिए, क्योंकि इसमें हमने डायरेक्ट इसको N2 N0 दे दिया है, इसमें हमने ये डिफाइन नहीं किया कि ये N0 के पैटर्न कहाँ से आएंगे। ठीक है, अब एक और सर्किट है जो इसको टेस्टिंग सर्किट है। टेस्टिंग सर्किट में क्लॉक चाहिए, ठीक है, और कुछ बटन्स हैं, 4 बिट के बटन्स हैं, स्विचेस हैं, और कुछ एनोड्स हैं, और 7 सेगमेंट हैं। ठीक है, उसमें हमने ये टाइम मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग इंस्टेंशिएट किया हुआ है। दिस इज वी हैव इंस्टेंशिएटेड हियर, एंड देन देयर आर 4 डिजिट्स। ठीक है, एक डिजिट है D0, D1, D2, D3, जिसमें हमारे वही डिजिट्स जो डिस्प्ले कराना चाहते हैं वो आ जाएंगे। ठीक है, हम कहते हैं कि भाई ये जब क्लॉक चलेगी उसमें ये होगा कि अगर आपने बटन 3 प्रेस किया हुआ है तो स्विच की वैल्यू D3 के पास जाएगी, स्विच की वैल्यू इसमें जाएगी, ये इसमें जाएगी, इसमें जाएगी। ठीक है, अब ये रजिस्टर फॉर 4 LED पैटर्न्स। ठीक है, इसमें ये है कि कोई भी हमने यहाँ पे, और स्विच क्या है 8 बिट है। ठीक है, अब वही जैसे ही क्लॉक चलेगी, और यहाँ पे हमने सिर्फ ये कर दिया है कि ये जो पार्ट है यहाँ से डिस्कस करते हैं, ये पार्ट हमने अभी डिजाइन किया है, जो पिछला मॉड्यूल है वो इसका ये पार्ट। ठीक है, उसमें N0 था, N1, N2, N3 थी, क्लॉक थी, रीसेट थी, और 7 सेगमेंट एनोड। ठीक है, अब ये N0 कहाँ से आएगा? अब ये जो N0 आएगा वो एक बाहर से सर्किट से आएगा। ठीक है, एक्सटर्नल सर्किट से आएगा। ठीक है, वो N0 फॉर एग्जांपल मिलेगा इसको स्विचेस से। ठीक है, अब ये 8 बिट का फ्लिप फ्लॉप है, ये 8 बिट का फ्लिप फ्लॉप है, ये 8 बिट का फ्लिप फ्लॉप है, ये 8 बिट का फ्लिप फ्लॉप है। ठीक है, और ये डेटा 8 बिट की जो डेटा है ये यहाँ से जाएगी क्यू की तरफ, जब ये क्लॉक मिलेगी इसको, और जब इसको इनेबल इसका एक्टिवेट होगा। ठीक है, और इनेबल तब एक्टिवेट होगा जब यहाँ पे 1 आएगा बटन 0 पे, मतलब बटन 0 पे एक्टिवेट सिग्नल, तो ये डेटा उधर जाएगी, वरना ये डेटा जाएगी, वरना ये डेटा जाएगी, वरना ये डेटा जाएगी। ठीक है, क्लॉक सबकी कॉमन। ठीक है, दिस इज एक्स्ट्रा सिग्नल, एक्स्ट्रा मॉड्यूल फॉर द testing purpose. So we are also going to look into so simple circuit. अगर बटन ये बेसिकली क्या है, ये इनेबल सिग्नल्स हैं। अगर ये इनेबल है तो स्विच की डेटा D3 पे जाएगी, अगर ये इनेबल है तो ये जाएगी। सो वेरी सिंपल सर्किट। ठीक है, इसके बाद नेक्स्ट सर्किट, एक और सर्किट हम डिस्कस करते हैं। ठीक है, और वो सर्किट है हेक्स टू 7 सेगमेंट डिकोडर। ठीक है, हमने एक डिकोडर बनाया था कॉम्बिनेशनल सर्किट में, उसका हमने नाम रखा था BCD टू 7 सेगमेंट डिकोडर।
7 सेगमेंट,
हाँ, BCD टू 7 सेगमेंट डिकोडर। ठीक है, अब आप यू कैन यूज BCD टू 7 सेगमेंट डिकोडर, आल्सो यू कैन यूज हेक्स टू 7 सेगमेंट डिकोडर। ठीक है, इसको टेस्ट करने के लिए दोनों यूज कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, सो द बुक रिलाइज ऑन hex to 7 segment decoder. So hex to 7 segment decoder, how it works? So for example ये इसका टॉप लेवल मॉड्यूल है। ठीक है, अब इस टॉप लेवल मॉड्यूल में हमने क्लॉक, रीसेट, और उसमें हेक्स 0, हेक्स 1, हेक्स 2, हेक्स 3, आपके 4 डिजिट्स हैं। एक डिजिट के लिए हेक्स 0 चाहिए, दूसरे के लिए हेक्स 1 चाहिए, हेक्स 2 चाहिए, हेक्स 3 चाहिए। ठीक है, और ये आपकी 4 डेसिमल पॉइंट्स हैं। अगर आप डेसिमल पॉइंट्स को एक्टिवेट करना चाहते हैं तो यहाँ से एक्टिवेट करेंगे। ठीक है, ये आपके एनोड्स हैं। ठीक है, और ये आपके एनोड्स यहाँ से आउटपुट होंगे, और ये आपके 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले में। ठीक है, सो दिस इज सिंपली डिकोडर, ठीक है। और यहाँ पे ये कुछ इंटरनल रजिस्टर्स हैं, ठीक है। आ जाते हैं डायरेक्ट लॉजिक पे। ये आपका करंट स्टेट लॉजिक है, जिसमें कुछ नहीं है, रीसेट हो गया तो क्यू रेज, अदरवाइज क्यू नेक्स्ट इज इक्वल टू क्यू रेज। तो ये आपका काउंटर है। अच्छा, इसमें ये किया गया है कि जो हमने टाइम मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग का सर्किट बनाया था उसको और 7 सेगमेंट डिकोडर को एक ही सर्किट में इंटीग्रेट कर दिया है, ठीक है। सो दिस होल पार्ट, यहाँ तक जितना भी पार्ट है हम पहले सर्किट में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, ठीक है। यही सर के एनोड पहला ये एक्टिवेट होगा और हेक्स 0 यहाँ से जाएगा और किसको मिलेगा, हेक्स 1 को मिलेगा, और हेक्स 1 इसको मिलेगा, इसको मिलेगा। ये वही पहला सर्किट है, ठीक है। अब हेक्स 1 की वैल्यूज जो आएंगी वो कैसे डिसाइड होंगी? वो कहता है कि अगर आपकी हेक्स n 0 है तो इसका यह पैटर्न होगा, अगर हेक्स 1 है तो इसका यह पैटर्न होगा, अगर a है तो इसका यह पैटर्न होगा, अगर b है तो यह पैटर्न होगा, अगर e है तो यह पैटर्न होगा, ठीक है। सो दिस इज जस्ट ए कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ बोथ दी सर्किट्स, ठीक है। आगे एक और सर्किट डिस्कस करते हैं, ये टेस्टिंग सर्किट फॉर टाइम मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग, ठीक है। इसी सर्किट को इसी सर्किट में इंस्टेंशिएट किया गया है और इसमें कुछ वैल्यूज दी गई हैं, ए की वैल्यूज दी गई हैं, बी की वैल्यूज दी हैं और उसमें कुछ सम किया गया है, ठीक है। अब इससे होगा क्या कि जो पहला स्विच है उस पर एक ऑपरेंड दिया गया है, दूसरा स्विच है उस पर दूसरा ऑपरेंड दिया गया है, और फिर हमें जो इसका सम है वो हमने इसका सम करके वो हमने सम को असाइन कर दिया है। और सम कहाँ पे जाएगा? सम इसका थर्ड 7 सेगमेंट, मेरे ख्याल में थर्ड 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले और फोर्थ 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले भी जाएगा, ठीक है। ओके, हियर वी गो। सो द सम फ्रॉम 0 to 3 सम यहाँ पे आ गया, हेक्स 2 पे आ गया, और फ्रॉम 4 to 7 जो सम होगा वो हेक्स 3 पे आ गया, ठीक है। और ऑपरेंड्स कहाँ पे आ गए? हेक्स 0 और हेक्स 1 में, ठीक है। टेस्टिंग के लिए इन्होंने क्या किया है कि भाई 4 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले, एक पे एक ऑपरेंड शो हो, दूसरे पे दूसरा ऑपरेंड शो, और तीसरे और चौथे सेगमेंट उन दोनों का सम शो, ठीक है। इट्स वेरी गुड डिजाइन। So let's try to go to Vivado and replicate this design. Okay, so any question before I move to the Vivado?
सही है सर, विवाडो पे मूव करते हैं।
Seven segment trimultiplexing. So we go select any kind of board. So when I'm going to design, I will not exactly follow the design. So excuse me for that. I will. Okay, so we need. Okay, so the file name is time multiplexing circuit. Okay, so in the time multiplexing, let's say we need some exactly follow this. So the input. Okay, all right. And
अभी जो सर्किट बनाएगा वो किसी और टाइम पे ना बने, मतलब जैसे 5 मिलीसेकंड या 10 मिलीसेकंड पे, ताकि अंडरस्टैंडिंग और ज़्यादा क्लियर हो जाए।
हाँ, हम नेक्सिस के हिसाब से बनाएंगे So नेक्स्ट इसकी टाइमिंग्स को फॉलो करेंगे आप, ठीक है।
श्योर सर।
Okay, so can you see my screen? So anodes, cathodes, anodes and cathodes. These are the, and then collapse, reset. So check first. Yes, right. Input is collapse. Reset. Okay, so I also want to add some input. There will be, if we are using, let's say we are using 4 7 segment displays. Okay. 4 7. So in the 4 7 segment displays, we need input 0, input 1, input 2, input 3, okay. And each input will be input will be 4 digit. Okay, so this can be a hex and it can be a BCD. In both cases, it will be 4 digit. And the output will be, there will be 2 outputs. One will be anodes. If we are using 4 7 segment, it will be 4 digit, otherwise it will be 8 digit. Okay, right? And another output is 8 digit, cathodes will be 8 digit. Okay, so that's it. So this is done, and now we need some internal registers. Okay, so internal registers, first of all we need clock. So for the clock, let's say I need parameter n is equal to, for example, I'm assuming that it is I'll change the circuit after the calculation. Okay, so I'm keeping the same right now just to keep it simple, and I will change the numbers after the calculation. Okay, if n is equal to 8 and the calculation is then 50 mega divided by 10 raised to power, sorry, 2 raised to power 16 is equal to 800. So this is the calculation we are forming right now. So I will change the calculation after the finishing the circuit. Okay. So 50 megahertz divided by 2 power 16 is equal to, and the counter we are running basically 16 and 17. Okay, so the counter is done, and then we need some internal registers. Okay, so internal registers are reg n minus 1, 0, and names will be current state. So once this is done, then current state logic, current state logic. So this current state logic will be equal to always posage clock and then posage reset. Okay, then begin and if reset. Current state will be equal to 0. Otherwise, current state will be equal to this is done. This current state logic is done. This output state logic and the next state logic. So let's design next state logic. Because we are designing the counter here, so next state logic will be very simple logic. The next state logic will be, if we use data flow modeling, then next state will be equal to current state plus 1. Okay, so because the simple counter we are designing right now. 1 second. Okay, so next state is must be. It must be Y because we are using data flow modeling. Okay, so the output logic will be where we will be using these MSPs and assigning, activating the proper part of the signals. Okay, so the always, this is combinational circuit. So, and then begin and end case and state, sorry, current state, current state. So we are basically interested in the last two MSPs. Okay, so current state n-1 and n-2. Okay, so it says that, so if they both are 0, 0, then what will happen? If they both are 0, then your anodes will be equal to 4b will be equal to 1, 1, 0. Okay. So what is it says that your first anode is activated and all other anodes are deactivated. Okay, so let me put n case, otherwise I will forget. Okay, so again, okay. So I'm doing all these assignments in the always blocks. I have to keep them rich, both, right? So, okay, so the anodes will be this and cathodes will be equal to IN 0. The IN 0 will be equal to cathodes. 7 segment pattern. Okay, so I need another register, internal register. Okay, let's say range 7 to 1 SSET. So what is it? Here. Begin and okay, fine. So this is the first condition. If these MSVs are 0, then first anode will be activated and cathodes will be assigned SSEG. SSEG is a one pattern. Okay, so SSEG is a one pattern. Okay, so the one pattern, the first pattern. Second combination, begin anodes 4 1 1 0 1. So this is the second anode, second seven segment display is connected, and cathodes will be equal to another pattern. Okay, so I'll change this part also. Okay. So the third part 2 has to be 1 0 begin anodes is equal to 4B 1 0 1 1 and cathodes will be equal to SSEG. Okay, and SSEG and if there is a default situation, then what will happen? Then the final, in case of default, then anodes 4 0 1 1 1 cathodes will be SSEG and then end. Okay. So this time multiplexing is done up to here. So now we need to address the how to get these numbers. So the anodes have been done. Anodes have been time multiplexed right now. But now we have to look at the cathodes, because cathodes each time you have to send different pattern. So for the first part, let's say you have to send one pattern, for the another pattern, then third pattern, and then fourth pattern. So it shouldn't be a single value here, it should be a different value here every time. So I will name it SSG0 and SSG1, SSG 7 segment pattern. No. So I will keep it for it. Okay. So what I will do, I will just make sure this is also 7 segment patterns, and this will get first 7 segment pattern. This will get another 7-segment pattern. This will get third, second, and this will get third 7-segment pattern. Okay, so now the time multiplexing has been done. Now we have to design something which can convert these numbers into 7-segment patterns. Okay, so this can be done in the same block. Okay, so first of all, let's design the test bench and check if timing is okay. Okay, so I will design the test bench here, module and module. Okay, so reg, this is also reg, and this is y. And then do some instantiation. Okay, so once the instantiation done, then we have to first generate clock, and the clock we have assumed that is 50 megahertz. Okay, so 150 megahertz. Let me calculate the time period. So 50 megahertz. When I want to calculate 50 megahertz, then megahertz. 50 megahertz. 50 megahertz. Okay, so the 50 megahertz is 20 nanoseconds. Okay, so the 50 megahertz is equal to, if I say 1 over 50 megahertz, then I need to calculate time. 50 megahertz is equal to 20 nanoseconds. Okay, so generate 50 megahertz. That is, so the 20 nanoseconds. So when I want to create a 50 megahertz, what I will do, I will say initial clock is equal to 0, and then always. So when the time period is 20 nanosecond, then it has to be toggled after every 10 nanoseconds. Okay, so after every 10 nanosecond, it has to be toggled. It will create a 50 megahertz. Okay, so time is created. Sorry, clock has been created. Now there is a reset. So reset is a positive edge clock. So what will I do? Begin and first of all, initially reset will be equal to 0, and then with a pause of, let's wait for the next negative edge of the clock, and then say reset is equal to 1, and then wait for the another negative edge of the clock, and then say reset is equal to 0 again. Okay, so this is reset activated and reset deactivated. Okay, so the once reset is also done, what are the other inputs? So these are the other inputs we have to make sure we give them. Okay, so the first input is, let's say, in 0, then is in 1, in 2, in 3. So I'll just put some different random patterns. Okay, so random patterns. let's say in 0, then let's say there is another clock, and then N3. Okay, so if I say the N3 is some random pattern, I will say I'll try to see in the decimal. Okay, so the maybe hexadecimal will be fine. 4 H. Okay, so 2. Okay, so M3 is 2, this is 4. Okay, let's say this is my birth year. So this will be 7 hexadecimal, and this will be 8 hexadecimal. This will be 9 hexadecimal, and this will be 1 hexadecimal number. So what is the number? Number is basically n is equal to 1987. Okay. Okay, so I think let me check. So after
सर ये इनकरेक्ट कर दें, IN3 हैं सारे तो.
हाँ actually सही 2 and this is 1, this is 1, and this is okay. So let's run the simulation for some amount of time, and then let's say 20, let's say 20, yes, 20 is fine. Finish the simulation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I hope it goes okay. So full, and these are the numbers we have given, and we'll see the cathodes and anodes. So cathodes are these. Anodes are this. Okay, okay. So we need to run the simulation for some good amount of milliseconds, because we are thinking about milliseconds. So let's say run this for 20 milliseconds. So let's have a view. So okay. I think we are getting some different numbers now. So the anodes and cathodes, I'm interested in anodes here. So anodes in binary, I want to see in binary. Okay, and cathodes I want to see in hexadecimal or whatever I have given. Okay, so okay, so now you can see that for this amount of time, let's calculate this amount of time here. So for this amount of time, only this anode, first anode is activated. Okay, so there are 4 anodes, so only this anode is activated, and these 3 anodes are deactivated. And what is this amount? This amount is 1.3. So this will not be exactly 1.3, it will be exactly 1.25. Okay, if I zoom in and place the cursor exactly where I need to place, so it will be here you go. I think this is around 1.3 milliseconds. So maybe the little bit calculation issue, but this time is 1.3 millisecond. So each digit. Okay, first of all, let me make sure the clock is rightly generated. So I'll check whether clock is okay. So once clock is okay, so the clock is 20 nanoseconds. And 20 nanosecond will be equal to in calculation 20 nanosecond. So it's fine. Okay, so there is no. Can anybody check me what is the 50 divided by 2 power 16? Okay, okay, so there's a slightly calculation. So 762, 763, 763, 1 divided by 763. It's 1.3. Yes, yes, this is fine. This is fine. Okay, so let me share you some screen here. Change the screen towards. Yeah. Okay, so the calculation is that because we are doing 50 into 10 power 6 divided by 2 power 16. So this will create basically 763 hertz. Okay, rather than exactly 800 hertz. So we'll not be able to get 800 hertz. We'll be able to get 763 hertz. So when we do 763 hertz, okay, and calculate the time period, this will become 1.3 millisecond. Okay, so this will become 1.3 millisecond. So when you look at the Vivardo timing diagram, okay, so this one will also give us 1 point from here to 0 to it is also 1.3 millisecond. Okay, so the each digit is basically refreshed by the 1.3 milliseconds. Now that is the exact calculation. So each digit refresh rate is 1.3 millisecond, and 1.3 multiplied by 4 will be equal to total refresh period. So 1.3, 1.3, 2.6, 2.6 and 2.6, 5.2. So 5.2 milliseconds is the total refresh period, which starts from 0 from here to here to here. Okay, so this is 5.24 milliseconds. So that is the total refresh period, and that is calculated. That is the total refresh period. Okay.
सर तो ये तकरीबन वही बात हो रही है ना कि जो n-2 बिट है वो हमारी डिजिट वाला टाइम डिसाइड कर रही है, और
हाँ,
जो
वो
n
डिजिट वाला टाइम
minus
डिसाइड कर रही है. एग्जैक्टली वो डिजिट वाला टाइम डिसाइड कर रही है. ठीक है, तो still we are in the safe limit because our limit was 1 millisecond to 16 millisecond. ठीक है, total refresh period was 1 millisecond to 16 milliseconds. So now total refresh period is 5.24 milliseconds, right? So even we have a 8 digits. If even we have a 8 digits, again it will be around 10.4. So it will be again safe limits. Okay. What if, okay, now let's change the numbers. Okay, let's change the numbers according to Nexus for DDR. Okay, so I will go to the yeah, okay, so in this case our frequency in the next for DDR is 100 megahertz. Okay, and if I do 100 megahertz, and if I pick up the 16th bit, it will generate 1525. So it will be equal to basically 1.5 kilohertz. So the 1.5 kilohertz is a little bit more. If I pick up 17, Okay, so this will be equal to 764. So what will be the changing? The changing will be, I have to pick 17 and 18th bit. That is the one changing. I have to pick 17 and 18. And another change I have to make in the test bench, I will convert the clock into 100 megahertz clock rather than 50 megahertz clock, right? So 17 and 18. Okay, so 17 and 18 I have to
तो
increase.
इस केस में n हमारे पास 19 होगा फिर
And हमने 19 करना है, ठीक है? So 100 megahertz divided by 17, it will be around कितना था? 762,
जी
63. ठीक है, so around मैं लिख देता हूँ, ये around है. Okay, so this number will become 19. तो यहाँ पे चेंजिंग करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि ये n-2 ऑटोमेटिकली 17 बन जाएगा और ये 18 बन जाएगा, ठीक है? सिर्फ हमने n चेंज किया है यहाँ पे, ठीक है? और यहाँ पे अब हम क्लॉक जनरेट करेंगे रादर देन 50 मेगाहर्ट्ज, हम 100 मेगाहर्ट्ज जनरेट करेंगे, ठीक है? तो 100 मेगाहर्ट्ज यहाँ पे क्या आ जाएंगे? क्योंकि जब फ्रीक्वेंसी इंक्रीज हो रही होगी तो टाइम श्रिंक होगा, ठीक है? तो ये टाइम श्रिंक होगा 5, ठीक है? 5 नैनो सेकेंड्स. तो 5 और 5 हो जाएंगे 10 नैनो सेकेंड और 10 नैनो सेकेंड आपके बन जाते हैं 100 मेगाहर्ट्ज, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे मैं चेंज कर देता हूँ 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 100 मेगाहर्ट्ज, तो टाइम पीरियड हो जाता है 10 नैनो सेकेंड. तो 5 और 5 दोनों अगर टॉगल होंगे तो टाइम पीरियड बन जाएगा 10 नैनो सेकेंड और ये 1 मेगाहर्ट्ज की क्लॉक हो जाएगी, ठीक है? अब इसको फिर से हम चलाते हैं और ठीक है, इसको सिमुलेशन को थोड़ा सा आगे चलाते हैं क्योंकि वी आर डीलिंग विद मिली सेकेंड्स. सो फुल व्यू, एनोड्स आई वांट टू सी इन बाइनरी, cathodes I want to see in any hexa maybe. Okay, so we look at the time. So again the time is same. Okay, so now we have increased the frequency, we have changed the counter, so again time is within the limit. So the total refresh period is 5.24 milliseconds. Okay, so right now we are able to create the required time multiplexing. Okay, only for the anodes. So the anode circuitry is done, but right now cathode is just a 4-bit number. So this will not be sorry, this is a 8-bit number, but it's not a correct pattern. Okay, this is just 1 9 8 7. It doesn't have a 7-segment pattern. So now we need another module which will convert this cathode numbers like 1 9 and into a corresponding pattern. Okay, so how to do that? Let's think about it. So n0, n1, n2 and n3, these are basically okay, these are basically 7 segments, and then these are assigned to the. Okay, so we need another module. Okay, let me design another module here in the same class. Okay, so we need to have a, let's say, BCD to 7 segment display. BCD to 7 segment. I think if I have these numbers, it will be very, it will save my time if we have these patterns available, or this is already available in my GitHub.
ये सर पहले ही बनाया हुआ है हमने ये
हाँ, पहले बनाया है, शायद हमने अपलोड किया या नहीं किया ये देखना पड़ेगा GitHub पे.
किया हुआ है सर, हमने तो किया था.
अच्छा, तो मैं आपकी रिपोजिटरी में देख लूंगा अगर मिल गया तो. Can anybody share me the code on code share? इसका कोड मुझे शेयर कर दें तो मैं इसमें इंटीग्रेट कर दूं.
करता हूँ.
Okay, I think I have it. I think I have it. Okay, I got it. I think. ठीक है. So let's go to Vivado. ठीक है. So मैं कोशिश करता हूँ इसको अलग से बनाता हूँ. Seven segment driver. Okay. So the input will be equal to 3-4 digit, definitely fine, and then output will be 7 digit. Let's say it should be 8 digit. Okay. And there is a output range CC. Okay. So CC, let's remove the CC. Output range. So first of all, make sure which kind of we need common cathode. Okay, so no common anode. Okay, so this should be active low. So this is 0. Okay, this is active high, but we also converted into active low here. Got it. Got it. This is fine. This design is fine. This design is common anode. Okay, so this is common anode. So this is fine, CC. So let me put here 8, 8. This will be 1. So I'm not activating the decimal point. Okay, so this is decimal point. Right. This is the decimal point.
सर एक और Z भी ऐड करें उसमें आउट डिफॉल्ट वाले केस में.
Okay, so this is done. I think it's fine now. So I need to use this module. The top level module, I have to create top level module, later create design sources. I'm trying to do some trick. If it works, it's fine. Otherwise, excuse me. Okay. So this- Okay, so this is. It's not working. It's not working. Hmm. Okay, so it's not working. I have to design top level module. Okay, so this is okay. So whatever the input is, that will be that. So the n0, 1, this will be 3, and this will be out 0, out 1, 3, and the out will be assigned here. Okay. So we need to make sure these out are wires. And both this out was out is not defined anywhere. Mm. Mm. So let me come back here. So this is 7-0. Is equal to 1 and 2 is equal to 9 and 1 is equal to 8. It's fine. GB. So we run for 20 milliseconds. There you go. There you go. Okay. So this will take into binary. So for the first 7-segment display, if I look at the binary pattern here, so this is the pattern for the, this should be the pattern for the 7. Okay, so I think this pattern is right for the 7. And this should be pattern for the 8. So this is all are zeros. All are zeros means this is the pattern for the 8. So this is confirmed. This is the pattern for the 9. So again, this is also confirmed. Only single digit is not activated, LED is not activated, and this is the pattern for the 1. So you can see these except A, B, and C are activated. Okay, so you can see that these different patterns are activated at different timings. So for first anode, this pattern will go. For the second anode, for 7-segment display, this pattern will go. And so when you run the hardware, when you run this circuit on the hardware, you can see 19, 18, 7 will be displayed on the board. Okay. So now, because due to little bit fluctuations in the coding, you may ask me, I can go back to the code and I can preview the code for you if you have any question.
Yes sir, code एक बार.
हाँ, कोड की बिग पिक्चर डिफाइन कर देता हूँ. बिग पिक्चर ये है कि आपके पास एक मॉड्यूल है टाइम मक्स, ठीक है. वो टाइम मक्स क्या कर रहा है, वो सिर्फ आपकी एनोड्स को और कैथोड्स को एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम के बाद वैल्यूज असाइन कर रहा है, सर्टेन वैल्यूज है, ठीक है. जैसे कुछ सर्टेन टाइम, अब ये सर्टेन टाइम क्या है, यहाँ पे ये जो सर्टेन टाइम है, यहाँ पे हमने जो कैलकुलेशन की है, ये सर्टेन टाइम है 763 हर्ट्ज. और इसको अगर मैं 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 763 हर्ट्ज करूं, 1 डिवाइडेड बाय 763 हर्ट्ज करूं, तो ये बन जाता है ऑलमोस्ट 1.3 मिली सेकेंड्स, ठीक है. जो हमने यहाँ पे वेवफॉर्म में देखा है, ये वाला 1.31 मिली सेकेंड, ठीक है. तो फॉर 1.31 मिली सेकेंड, what I'm doing, I'm activating one digit. Okay, so for 1.31 millisecond, I'm activating one digit. How to activate one digit? You just send 0 to the first 7-segment display and 1 to the rest of the 7-segment display. And then you have to also send some number, the number you want to display to that 7-segment display, and that number is out 0. Okay, and then when you are turning on the 7-segment display, and then you have to send another number to that display, another number to third display for another time, and then another number to another display. So this whole part is doing multiplexing. Okay, so the once multiplexing is done, now we have to give proper combination to the cathodes. Okay, so here out 0, out 1, out 2, out 3 is just a sorry, this is just a, it should be a proper 7-segment display. Okay, proper 7-segment pattern. So how to get these patterns from numbers. So we have instantiated a 7-segment driver 4 times. 4 times means once for the first digit, units digit, let's say, another for the tens digit, other for the hundredth digit, another for the thousandth digit. Okay, so here in zero will be, in zero has been basically defined in the test bench. So in zero is 7, let's say. Okay, so in zero will go there and it will come out seventh seven segment pattern. So here 8 will go there and it will come out 8 7-segment patterns. So corresponding 7-segment patterns will come down, come out of this block, and it will go to the these combinations. Out 0 will be assigned to cathodes, and then because cathodes are common, so I'm just directly assigned to the cathodes. And let's talk about the test bench. In test bench, we are basically instantiating this model time mux, then generating the proper clock. Proper clock is 100 megahertz. So the 10 nanosecond is the time period. So if I toggle after every 5 nanoseconds, it will generate 100 megahertz. Okay. Here I'm performing some reset operations. Once reset is done, then I'm assigning some particular number here. So the number is 19187, my birth year. ठीक है, तो 7 is the units, तो 7 मैंने इसको असाइन कर दिया है, 8 इसको असाइन कर दिया है, 9 इसको असाइन कर दिया है, उसके बाद मैंने कुछ टाइम के लिए मैंने सिमुलेशन चलाई हुई है कि इसको मैं चेक कर सकूं. ठीक है, तो ये नंबर जाएंगे इस मॉड्यूल में, फिर इस मॉड्यूल में से इस मॉड्यूल से ये पैटर्न्स निकलेंगे, ये इसके पास जाएंगे और उसी वक्त वो प्रॉपर एनोड एक्टिवेट होगा. और सिर्फ आपने देखा कि इस वक्त सिर्फ इस पे सिर्फ ये डिजिट जा रहा है, इस एनोड में ये डिजिट नहीं जा रहा, 8 नहीं जा रहा, इसको 8 नहीं मिल रहा, 9 नहीं मिल रहा, 1 भी नहीं मिल रहा, सिर्फ ये पैटर्न इसको मिल रहा है ड्यू टू टाइम मल्टीप्लेक्सिंग. तो आई आस्क यू कि अगर आपके पास अभी बोर्ड अवेलेबल है तो इस बोर्ड पे चलाएं, वरना जब आपको टाइम मिले तो इसको चलाइएगा. ठीक है, एनीबॉडी एल्स?
ये एक और क्वेश्चन, ये
हाँ,
8वीं बिट आपने दी है, ये वो दरम्यान में 2 डॉट्स हैं, ये जो छोटे वाला डॉट है उसके लिए.
कहाँ पे? ये वाले?
नहीं मतलब आउट जो दिया है वो 8 बिट का दिया है ना सर, वैसे तो हम
हाँ.
7 बिट का दे रहे थे.
नहीं, आउट इसलिए कि इट इंक्लूड्स डेसिमल पॉइंट. ठीक है, डेसिमल पॉइंट
सही है सर, मतलब ये जो छोटा डॉट है.
हाँ, वो जो कॉर्नर में नहीं होता 7 सेगमेंट डिस्प्ले के
जी जी जी, सही है सही है सर.
कॉर्नर, ये अगर उसको भी इंक्लूड कर दें तो 8 डिजिट हो जाएगा, वरना 7 डिजिट होते हैं.
सही है सर.
उसमें मैंने पहली डिजाइन में सीसी अलग किया हुआ था डेसिमल पॉइंट, और यहाँ पे मैंने इसको कंबाइन कर दिया है. ठीक है, okay, so let me drop this code here and stop recording.